Hey, product bosses, and welcome back to the Product Boss Podcast. I'm Jocelyn Snyder, and I help creative entrepreneurs who make and sell physical products turn what they sell into focused, growing businesses that get seen and sell consistently. Today, I'm sitting down with Caprice Ericson of Pajama Mama, a brand that's making luxury loungewear for both giftable and unforgettable. I mean, I'm obsessed with these buttery soft pajamas. And they come in all their own coordinating bags and knits and match robes. And Caprice has created a line that's turning heads at in-person markets and starting to sell more online. And while her packaging is on point and her product quality is undeniable, she's hitting a roadblock. Shoppers don't always get what's in the bag. So how do you bridge the gap between a beautiful presentation and clear communication, especially in person? We're going to dive into that in today's episode and dive more into this live coaching call. So let's jump in. So how can I support you today in this call?
I think my main 2 pain points, which is one is the packaging, which is, what sets me apart. So you got the pajamas, so you saw that they come in the matching bag, which is great. It's very giftable. Women love it, and it does set me apart. But Jacqueline, if I'm in an event and I've got them they don't know what these are.
Yeah.
They think they're iPad bags.
Yeah.
They don't get the connection, even though I am in the pajamas. I have a mannequin in the pajamas. I have shop pajama mama. I've got,
Because you
other
need racks and they need to be on hangers. Let me explain to you how it goes because I've done this with pajamas before. So, what you want is you want to have the colorways that you have and have at least each color hanging and at least one of every size. It doesn't need to be the same color like your one. It doesn't need to be small, medium, large, extra large, but you want to have at least a couple. So when I did this at this one booth, because I worked this market with my client, she only had 6 prints. So we did pull out, we had one of every size and the colors, and it was beautiful. And so we had one side, and so then they got to see it, they got to try it on, or they got to kind of put it over their clothes. And then we would give them the folded one that was in the beautiful packaging.
Right, that's very similar to what I do. I've got all the sizes hanging. I've got some extra ones so that they can try them on if they want, and then, yes, I do have the ones in the bag. So I call them my sizing pajamas, but I don't have, like, racks and racks and racks of everything out.
So, do you ever see those where, like, it's like a set, it's a pajama set folded in, like, a pack with a ribbon around it?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really I do know I mean, more familiar with more of the online pajama companies.
Well, no, I'm saying that because I wanna tell you about how they're presenting it. Because what I'm trying to say is, and what you're telling me the problem is that they don't know what's inside the bag, so it's harder to sell just based off the bag. Like, if I were to go to Target right now, there's, like, a section that has pre-packaged pajamas that are folded, and there's, like, a bow around them. And people can't see what the pajamas look like. Like, you don't want them pulling them out to look at them because they're packaged so nicely. So what they actually have usually on, like, the cardboard or something is they'll actually have an illustration of what the top and the bottom look like. And they'll have a drawing of it on the cardboard or the packaging or something so that people can see what it is. Otherwise, people will pull them out. So going back to the other side of this is if, for example, you wanted to keep selling it all the different things, I'm just saying that they wanna see what it looks like. So if there was an image of the top, like a flat drawing image of the top and bottom with the print, and it was on the package and they could see it kinda like in sheets, like, if you buy a bundle of sheets, they'll show you a bed made with the sheets. They do it because when things are packed up, people just can't conceive what it looks like, even though you're like, "It's this, but it's in this print." Those are the kinda couple options I wanted to present to you, that if you're having an issue with them not knowing what's inside, then they just have to see a version of it in that print sometimes to believe it. Some people can get over it easier, but a lot of people wanna visually see what it looks like.
Yeah, and at the in-person events, I'll pull them out if they wanna see them. If they can't visualize it, I'll pull it out so they can see it. Or it could be a print that has a big run, and I certainly do that. It seems like I think what you're leading to is, like, in these at these events I'm at, we have the young ladies that have these beautifully curated boutiques, traveling boutiques, and they have very much like collections. And it sounds like that's where you're suggesting I go more of just a more curated boutique collection, maybe per season.
Yes, and the same way that you feel like on your website. So this is, for example, this isn't, I was trying to find the market, but this was at least one of every print because she has only 2 styles. This is one of my clients. So she has only 2 styles plus a robe, and she'll have at least a set pulled out of every single one, and that she'd have at least one of every size out so somebody could try them on if they need to try it on. But that way they see what it is, and then you can easily just give, it's like a shoe store almost. Like a shoe store will always have the shoes out, and then they'll bring you the shoes to try it on if you want. So that's kind of what I guess what I'm trying to say is whether or not you have, I think with the full 300, it's a lot of units, and if you feel like they love to rummage, but if you feel like they're getting stuck with trying to figure out which print or what it looks like, it might be about merchandising better.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's my feedback from the perspective of, like, because you said that they look like they're these boutiques, and it just kind of, it just makes it easier for them to say yes. People buy what they see on a mannequin. They buy the sample. They buy the look, and some people will be able to creatively jump ahead, and some people won't. And then that'll kind of be what you get to decide on, like, how you wanna show it to everybody.
Gotcha.
Here's the thing. Caprice has created something special. Her pajamas come beautifully packaged in matching bags that make them incredibly giftable. But at in person events, customers need more visual cues to understand what they're getting. Listen, this is the classic case of you can't sell what they can't see. So, whether it's adding them onto hangers, mannequins, or simple illustrations on the packaging, you've got to show what you're selling and what's inside, especially when your product is premium or it's a little bit different than the norm. Clear merchandising isn't just about making things look pretty, it's about helping your customer confidently say, yes. Because at market, what are the offers you're making to try and sell more than one?
Well, I have been bundling the kimono style robes and the pajama sets, and I started doing that this past weekend, and that went really well. So they're saving $12 by bundling a pajama set and a robe.
Great.
That's gone real well.
Great.
And the
Yeah.
robes have been really selling the last 2 weekends, great.
Perfect. So
And
they're
that's
upping.
because that's more of the, "Hey, I'd like to get this for my girlfriend." I'm not really sure what size she is, so the one size kimono style robe that that helps fill that void there. So they'll grab a robe and say, "This is great."
Yeah. Robes are really a great addition. And when they're all a matching set, it's really good. So that's awesome. So you've raised your average order value. You're selling more to one customer, which is great too. Do you ever show it merchandise like two different prints mixed, or do they really
Oh,
work
yeah.
like as a set? Okay.
That and also too, I'll mix the print on the mannequin I did this weekend, I mixed the prints from the pajama set and the robe on top.
Okay. And were people buying what they saw?
A lot of times, yes, because 'cause I'm putting out there a really dynamite pattern.
But that's what I'm asking, like, if they see it on the mannequin, are you seeing that they buy what they saw on the mannequin? Like, they like the 2 print mixes, and so they come in and they're like, "I want what's happening there."
Not really the 2 print mixes. What happens with the 2 pajama sets, if it's the same print, a lot of times when I'm between seasons, when I'm bringing the shorty pajama sets, which are our short sleeve shorts, and the long sets, they'll buy same pattern or the same pattern in a different color and mix and match that way,
Okay.
so that they can wear a long pant with a short shirt or vice versa.
Okay.
But they do like to mix patterns, especially with the robes. They'll do that.
Awesome. Alright, how else can I support you?
I mean, that's just been my, main pain point. I mean, I'm thinking about possibly in 2026 moving into the wholesale world, and dipping my toe in that. And that might be baby steps, Jacqueline. That might be just like doing robes just to get used to it. I mean, because really all I'm selling is the pajama sets, the robes, and I do sell the toiletry bags. I sell those a lot during the holidays. It makes a great little add-on gift. But if I were to go into wholesaling, say in 2026, those retailers, how are they going to merchandise? and pretty much the same pain point we were just talking about with my in person. I feel like it needs a sticker on it to explain that they're in the bag, or I do sell at 2 consignment situations in nice boutiques, and I do hang the pajama sets there and then put the bag, attach it to the back, so the bag is still part of it, but I do hang them there.
So, a couple things. I think it's a limiting belief about retailers. They won't have them in the bags. So a retailer will look at your stuff and they'll see your line sheet. They also don't want to look through 300 SKUs of prints. So they're going to want you to show them like the seasons, the spring summer 1, spring summer 2. I think it's a limiting belief that you only have to start with robes because you have so many units, you have the ability to order mass production. They're probably going to want the pajamas and the robes. Like, why not? And you got a great price point for your stuff. What they'll do though is they'll buy from the line sheet, and then most likely, depending on the boutique, they will take them out of the bags and they'll hang them, and people will buy them like that, or they'll fold them and they'll be on a table. Most likely in a boutique, that's what they'll do is they'll have the because people like to try things on. And then perhaps like it's like a jewelry company is where like the jewelry bags in the back, or they might take the baggie and like, put it like somehow attached to their hanger. And that might be something for you to consider as well. When I did this with the other company, when they ordered it online, it came beautifully folded in the bag. But when they bought in person, we had it hanging, and then they got a bag that went matched that we, like, put in with their stuff. So, the bag is beautiful, and it gets to go as a secondary option, but really the most important thing is that they try it. So, I think limiting belief on just robes, I think you 100% could crush it wholesale and selling what you have, which is the one style PJ. You've got lots of color. Well, you've got the shorts and the long and the kimono robe to go through it. But it's just the way you've been selling it.
Right, and I would only to those wholesalers, I would very much just offer a collection per season, you know, that way, not all this one-offs.
So when you sell wholesale, potentially what will happen, obviously you've got the production because you've pre-ordered for the tariffs. So you've got a lot of product, which you could sell now, but it would be an open to sell. So it'd basically be like, these are the SKUs I have available. Here are the prints. Here are the sizes that I have available. You can buy and I can ship it to you tomorrow. Kind of idea. Not tomorrow, like let's say within the next 2 weeks. That's an immediate. That means you've got product on hand. They can order from you. But let's say you went to market. February, March is the next fashion market that's selling for fall, winter of 2026. So February, March of 2026, people are going to be wholesaling for the fall and winter of 2026. So that's how far ahead they wholesale. So let's say you had, I'm not saying this is what you do because really I think you're probably a year away from doing this, but let's say you had the designs, you had samples made of this design. So the pink safari, the purple safari, a couple, whatever. You had the prints. You'd go to market or you do your blend sheets and marketing to retailers. This is the fall winter 26 collection. Get your orders in by this date, and then you, Caprice, would get all your orders in, and then you would go to India and you'd purchase based on the orders that came in from the buyers. So you're actually not selling what you have on hand, but you'd be going into production against the orders that were made so that you're not willy-nilly making it. So that's like more traditional wholesale.
And those women are used to purchasing 2 smalls, 2 mediums, 2, like, whatever you call them, the packs,
Yeah,
pack orders. Yeah,
they'll purchase a size run depending on the store. So,
size
like,
run.
if it's Miami and New York and LA, it might be a lot of smalls, extra smalls, mediums, not as many plus size. And then maybe it's another city or state where, like, they're ordering more on the plus size or the type of store that's buying from you. But what's cool about that is they'll be ordering before you go into production, and then you give your production house the cut that you want. And so right now you're kind of in this, like, if I were to, like, as your coach, I would say to you, if you wanna go this route, you would create your designs and development and all that for spring, summer 27, and then you would be marketing that August, September, October of next year. So you'd be in sales of wholesale August, September, October of next year for 2027, and then you'd be doing the markets for that. Then they would order, and then you'd go into production over the Christmas time and, like, first month of January, depending on what your, lead times are for India. So I would say for the next year, you absolutely could sell wholesale, but you'll just kinda have an open to sell with collections and be like, "Here's my line sheet. Here's what we have available," and then they'll order against it.
Right, and that might be the next step.
Yeah. I think your stuff is so sellable, so such a good price point, like, there's no reason you can't do it, and that will help you move more inventory faster because they're buying, you know, 12 pieces at a time versus a normal woman who's buying 1 at a time. Obviously, it's at wholesale prices, but they're buying more. Wholesale can take a lot of advanced planning and feedback. But for Caprice, she's finding herself in a great position to enter the wholesale market. She can test bundles, mixing the prints, and watch what sells. That's exactly what you should be doing before going into wholesale, right? Your customers are telling you something. So in person events are the perfect testing ground. They give you direct feedback in real time. They help you tweak your product offering, and you get to see what customers actually want. This is exactly what I did in my business. Because when you take your brand to wholesale, you're not just selling one product, you're selling an offering that's a curated experience to the retailer. And if you've already refined your pricing, your packaging, your merchandising strategy through your markets, your wholesale pitch becomes so much stronger. This is how you build a wholesale line that sells itself and really good relationships with your buyers.
Right. I think, my real goal was, and again, this has not been my business, this has not been my career, and I'm 3 years in, is just getting out in front of people, just getting to meet people. And, we're going to these events. It's been really lovely getting to know the women. They'll stop by and say hi, even if they're not ready to purchase another pajama set, and it's just getting, me out there, the brand out there, the pajama sets out there. But again, leveling up for 2026 sounds like that's where I'm headed.
How do you feel about that?
I think that sounds great,
Okay,
and that's all very doable. That feels achievable to me.
good, good. I'm so glad. And the fact that it feels achievable, that you're not like, means that you know you've got the customers. And then everything for you is just, how can I make it easy for them to say yes? And every time you ask yourself that question, then the answer will come for it to be really easy. How do I make it easy for them to see what the print is? How do I make it easy? You're selling a lot. So, not saying that you need to change your whole way of selling if you want to still bring everything, but those are just my opinions on how to clean it up so it's easier for them to say yes, you know?
Yeah, we want to make it an easy shopping experience for our customers. I'm a consumer, I'm a shopper. And I think through that way when I'm trying to, answer a question for myself, how, what would I want to do if I were the customer?
Yeah. So, if people want to support you, shop from you, all the things, where can they find you?
Shop Pajama Mama. On the website, it is shop dash pajama mama, two dashes. And then Instagram, it's underscore. So shop underscore pajama underscore mama.
Caprice is doing what every smart product business owner does. She's listening, she's adapting, and improving the customer experience in real time. And if you're like Caprice, you have a beautiful product, you know it's good, but your in person shoppers are still confused or maybe they're hesitating. Here's the truth: it's rarely a product problem, it's a clarity problem. And when people instantly understand what they're buying and why it matters, sales are going to get easier. So, my friends, if you want the highest level of support to build the kind of clarity and growth, the kind of Caprice gets inside of the Product Boss Collective because she's a member, it's a program with advisors, education, consultants, and hand on guidance to help you make the right moves at every level of business. So, if you're interested, you could book a call with my team. Head to theproductboss.com/book a call, and we will help you find the best path and the level of support that you need in your business right now. Thanks for joining us today, Product Bosses. If this episode gave you an idea or an aha moment, would you mind screenshotting it and tagging us at the Product Boss on Instagram? Until next time, keep going, keep growing, and keep building the business that gets you seen and sold.